What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Triple Threats Podcast. I can't believe we're already on episode 5, and today I have a very, very special guest with me. Most recently seen in Tina Turner, the Broadway musical, we have Kayla Davion joining us today. How you doing, Kayla?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. A little bored here and there, but I've been I've been keeping myself busy. How have you been keeping yourself busy?
Oh man, I feel like I'm still doing stuff. I am doing a lot of different auditions. I've been working on my own business situation for Affirmed Quotes. I've been doing little small gigs, singing. I got a mic now, so honestly, reading, we're keeping busy over here. We're like, what can we do today?
Yeah, you have like a lot of things on Instagram, like the Dream Girls. I saw that really cool stuff that you're putting out there. I love it.
Yeah, it's really fun. And I do think that artists should get paid for the
Mhm.
work that we're doing, but I also think it's a beautiful thing to be reminded of the passion that you have. So I do like to just kind of do whatever I can in any kind of projects I can to make sure that I remember what it is and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
A lot of people are saying that the voice is our instrument, so you have to keep it up to par. And some people haven't during like the pandemic; they haven't been singing, but it's really good to see that you have been keeping up with that.
Yeah, thanks.
So let's talk a little bit about your past. You were born in Chicago,
Yes.
right? And then you grew up, went to high school, all in Chicago.
Yeah. Well, I always say Chicago, but really it's like the South suburbs. So right in the good old South suburbs is where I was. Always got to make sure I'm clear about that. But yeah, I went to school and everything in really the state of Illinois. And then I went to college in Indiana, so not too far away, but still a good enough time where it was like, goodbye, everybody.
So you weren't always into theater as a kid, right? You joined the game your senior year of high school.
Yeah, fairly late, fairly late. I was trying to get a record deal. I used to write songs and stuff all the time. So that was my niche. And then
Mhm.
I was a part of a step team and stuff in high school, but I didn't realize that theater was a big thing until my senior year. When I did Memphis the Musical. If you guys have not seen it, please check it out because it's incredible. The music is beautiful. But it was my first time. I did it for an all-state theater program,
Okay.
which is when you get students from around the state
Yep.
to put on this one production. And it was the first time that I ever realized that an African-American woman could play the lead. So I was like,
Mhm.
wow, that's big. That's incredible. And I love to sing. So let me just try and see what this is. And I did it and I was like, this is incredible. I was like, I had no clue that we could all build this empire in a way together,
Right.
which
Mhm.
was incredible. So I was like, I got to go to school for this.
So let's talk a little bit about that. So you went to college in Indiana?
Yeah, Indiana.
In Indiana you said. So how was that college audition process like? What was your plan going into college?
Yeah, I so when I decided that theater was what I wanted to do, I was like, great. My mom agreed and I was like, okay, what do we do now? Let me Google top 10 colleges. Obviously that's what I'm supposed to do. I was like, that's clearly it. I originally planned on going to school for psychology and stuff.
Okay.
So I was like, great. I looked on Google and it was NYU, the big school names. I was like, I don't know what any of this is, but great. And then Ball State, which is the school that I ended up choosing, their packet came in the mail, like a welcome packet. And I looked down at the packet and something in my heart, like a light bulb went off and was like, this is where you're supposed to be. I assumed that it was God at the time.
Right.
So I literally was like, okay, this is where I'm going.
Good.
And I didn't second guess it. I was just like, we just got to go, make the move and go. So I went and auditioned. I got in. And then honestly, my plan was just you have to learn everything because you don't know anything. All you know is this community theater that you've been doing. Like, you don't actually know the history of things and art, like acting techniques. Like, so
Audition techniques.
like literally nothing. Like, I came into college my first day with pink capris on and a white t-shirt, like ready. I was like, first day of college, I'm grown. I had my hair dyed. Like, I was like, golden brown, here we go. Like, we're about to play the game,
Yeah.
And I walked into acting class where they were wearing all black. And I said, oh.
Where
Which
am I?
right, literally, where am I? And I think I read the syllabus wrong because they had it on the syllabus, but I swore I read the syllabus, but somehow I missed the clothing part. So anyway, but it was like that the whole week of like first classes, like I was getting basically embarrassed in all of these classes because it just truly looked like I was like ill prepared, as if I didn't know what was going on, which granted, not that I was ill prepared, but I definitely, all of it was very new for me. So
Okay.
it was, it was hard. And a lot of people talked about me. And I remember calling my mom being like, what am I doing here? Like, I don't know why I signed up for this.
And I can't even imagine how that felt, being that you only joined theater your senior year. I mean, it shouldn't matter, but
Yeah.
when you start to really get into the ins and outs of the theater world, and like I said, audition techniques and everything like that, it could seem very, very confusing. So
Yeah.
I can't even imagine how that felt being compared to the other people that were there that might have had experience in like summer
Yeah.
camps and everything like that.
Yeah. So many people have trained for that moment for
Right.
their lives. Like, they have gotten coaching. They've been in theater since they were younger. Like, a lot of these people are like, I've had dance training, I've had voice lessons, I've had these things, and I'm like, I've had none of it. So
Right.
it was definitely terrifying.
Hmm.
And I remember my mom just being like, if you really want to do it, then you have to do it.
Hmm.
Like, that's it. Like, there's not a tiptoeing around it. Like, if this was where you want to be, then be there and like do the work. And we prayed that I would like end up booking a Broadway job before I graduated college. And then that is exactly what happened. But it is also because like, and I don't like when people say like, oh, that's luck. Like, you must have been pretty lucky. No, not luck. I worked my butt off.
Right.
I came from literally nothing to, being at the top of my class and being
Hmm.
the first person in my university to book a Broadway show out of college. Like,
True
that is a
story.
major deal. And I'm like, but I
And
put in,
then to go and book two more
and then book two more.
right
Yes,
after that
absolutely.
with original casts and record and making history on Broadway. And
Yeah.
we'll get into a little bit of that, but I that's congratulations. That's something that you should be proud of.
Thanks.
Um, no problem. So you were in college, and your senior year you started doing the showcases and things like that.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, showcases. So I feel like every college does it differently. My showcases for Ball State were they did a Chicago, New York, and LA showcase. Um,
Okay.
but you have to audition for them. So it's not because it's not just musical theater who can be in the showcase. They do acting, musical theater, and dance majors can audition for this, which I think is beautiful. I was like, that's actually really cool.
Did they do poetry in there as well, or no?
No, they didn't do
Or-
poetry. Not in the showcase, at least. Not in
Okay.
the showcase. Do love a good poem though. But not in the showcase. But yeah, so we auditioned for it. We had maybe we had some time to like really like figure out what it is that we wanted to showcase.
Mhm.
I ended up when I auditioned, I got into all three showcases, which was awesome. Um,
What song did you use, or like?
what song
Yeah.
did I use? What song did I use? In the actual showcase, I did for Chicago showcase, I did Blues in the Night from Swing, which is this super jazzy song. And I was
Mhm.
just in the musical Swing. So that was my like 11 o'clock number song. So it was like, yeah, let's keep this song. It's actually great on you.
Right.
And I did this comedic monologue from
Love
this
those.
group of monologues called the Diana Logs. And then for New York, I kept the same monologue. And then I decided, and I remember because we had Rachel Hoffman, BR. She was the person who chose who was going to be in New York Showcase. So she worked with
Okay.
them.
Like the
And I remember telling her, like, I don't want to do super stereotypical Black girl. Like
right,
and I was like, and that was what Blues in the Night and my comedic monologue was. I was like, I want to keep my comedic monologue because it is very me. But I was like, the song, like, I love ballads. I want to do a ballad that means something, that where you can feel my heart and my soul, and not just a sassy number.
right.
And so I ended up actually doing, I think the movie is called Camp. Is it called Camp? I think it's called Camp.
Camp.
And it was a ballad that a young girl sung at the talent show there, which is called Here's Where I Stand.
Is it Camp Rock or just Camp?
No, just Camp, not Camp
Just
Rock.
Camp.
Oh my God, I love Camp
Me
Rock.
too. Because I was like talent show ballad. I was like, it might be Camp Rock.
Oh my gosh, yes, Camp Rock. That's good. No, I think the movie was called Camp, but it was this beautiful ballad called Here's Where I Stand, which basically the girl is like, this is like, look, and that's gonna sound like Camp Rock. This is me.
Yeah.
But it was, it was a song that's like, accept me as who I am. I'm standing right here, and we like need to stand together on this. And it was beautiful. And I was like, yeah, this is the piece. And it's actually how I booked my agents. Like, they live for it.
Right. So the agents would come to the showcase and, scout people.
Yes.
To become in their agency. And that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, they would come and have like a little sheet that they would have like our headshots on one sheet. Then they would have another sheet where they could write their own notes, and like check if they wanted you to email them or call them for an interview and things like that. So I got lined up with a lot of different agencies, thankfully, to have meetings with agents and managers. And then I met my agents, Nicolosi and Company, and I was just like, yeah, I love it. But I made sure that, I will say that people always ask me, like, what kind of questions and stuff do you ask? Like, what do you talk about when you're in these rooms with the agents and stuff? And I mean, my thing is, like, as much as I'm working for them, they are also working for me. So
Yeah.
When I am in rooms with agents, like, what I made sure to do was to tell them, like, I want to be very clear that, like, top tier Broadway and things like that are the goal. Absolutely. But also, I'm an individual who follows my heart. And I follow my intuition, which is what I've been doing, which is what's gotten me here. So I'm like, if something doesn't feel right, I will not choose it,
Right.
and I won't. And I was like, I will not choose fame over my own soul. Like, I cannot, I will not. And so I was like, I just need to make sure that whoever I choose to work with me understands that and is not trying to push me for the money, because I can't do that.
Not about that life. Some people are.
Yeah, I just believe in divine purpose, and I know that me getting into theater in the first place was very was a wild experience. It was not expected, and also it was there for a reason. Like, I am legit touching lives,
right,
and saving lives, and
inspiring
helping
people,
and inspiring, right, and being able to speak my truth, and like, I can't go against that, because then I won't be doing the work that I'm supposed to be doing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So when you got this agent, you were auditioning though.
Yeah,
Right?
I was auditioning. They actually kind of freelanced with me for a little bit. So
And you were still in college when you
yeah, I
were.
was still in college. I was still in New York at first. When I first met with them, I was in New York for maybe like a week and a half, and they had me going to so many auditions. I was doing stuff for Lion King, I self-taped for The Color Purple, I self-taped for Hamilton, I did Ragtime,
All
and
these
then
incredible shows.
just so many incredible shows. I was like, wow, incredible. I did Book of Mormon. I did a lot of different things, which I was like, wow, great, thanks. Got me in the room. Bless up. And then Waitress actually ended up being a last minute audition right before I left. They were like, they want you to see the show. We can get you a student rush ticket, and then they audition for the show before you leave. And I was like, okay. And I saw the show, which Sarah Bareilles was in at the time, playing the lead. So I was like, oh my God, I get to watch Sarah Bareilles on stage. That's incredible. And yeah, it was great. It was incredible. And yeah.
I mean, who was your Dawn when you saw the show?
Who was my Dawn? Caitlin Houlihan.
Was it
She was
Kate?
my Dawn.
Yeah. Hmm.
And I love her. And
Yeah.
I'm so thankful. I was just texting her a couple weeks ago. I'm so thankful that I got to work with her. Truly. She's a gem.
Right.
A gem.
All those people. I mean, Stephanie, Natasha, the whole cast
All of
of
them.
waitresses just incredible. And
Yeah.
so when did you get the call that waitress wanted you to come to Broadway?
Yeah. So I went back to school
Hmm.
and my agents before I had signed with them, Nicolosi, they called me and they were like, "Hey, like they want you to come back and do a final callback in New York during my finals week." And I was like, "Ugh,
Jesus.
okay, great." They were like, "They want to know if you book the role, will you start the next day?" And I was like, "No,"
Mm. Another
because
one of those things that you knew what you wanted.
yeah, and I
Hmm.
was about to graduate college. I'm like, I've made it this far. I want to walk across the stage and get my diploma. I was going to
Hmm.
be the first person in my family to graduate from college, so my education meant a lot to me.
Right.
And I had been through so much in college as it was, so it was like, no, I need to finish this out, you know. And they kind of were like, "What?" I was like,
Not expecting that.
"No, like I can't," you know. And I'm so, and this is what I mean by like, I love them so much because were they happy about that decision? Absolutely not. Did they stick with me? Yes, they did. And so I was like, I'll go to the callback though. So I went to the callback. I flew in on a Tuesday morning, literally flew in, took a bus from the airport to the audition, did the audition.
Who was in the audition room?
The audition room, we had everybody but Sarah.
Okay.
So, oh no, actually, I don't know if was Diane Paulus there. I think Diane was there also. Yeah, so it was the director, the assistant director. We had a producer in the room.
Hmm.
Literally everybody but Sarah at the time.
Well,
Which
she was
I'm
in the show, so.
grateful. Right. Just like, I don't know if I really wanted her in the room, so that's okay. Cause woo, but
Right. Nerve-wracking.
yeah, but I did the audition. We did a dance call, and then I went in and did my scenes for Don and did the song and whatnot. And then I left. I got back on the bus, back to the airport. Literally hopped right back on the flight and came back. Then the next day on Wednesday, I was taking a final in the library, and my agents kept calling my phone. I was like, oh my God, like I'm trying to take a test. Like y'all are trying to get me in trouble. Like I'm in the library trying to take a test. Ignore. And then I called them back, like, what's up? Like y'all call, hello, what's up? Like y'all called me during finals week when I'm trying to take
Right.
a test. And they were like, you know, we just wanted to let you know that you booked Waitress the Musical on Broadway. And
Wow.
they were like, and they are gonna wait for you to graduate college for you to start. And I was like,
What was your reaction to that?
I literally was like, what?
Right.
What? Then
You're gonna wait for me. That.
I got off the phone, called my mom, and was just bawling. And my mom
Hmm.
was like, I told you was gonna book a Broadway show before you graduated college. We knew this, Kayla. And then like just sobbing. And
Hmm.
I remember just my whole department, the joy that everyone felt for me.
Right.
And I also like I think if anything, they understood where I came from and the struggles that I've had with being in college in general and the finances of college and so much. I worked 3 jobs at one time. Like
Yeah.
I was really trying to make this life.
Hmm.
And they were overjoyed for me and they just were like, yeah, like at my college graduation, I was singing with the jazz band at the time who was at the school, but literally they had me sitting up there with the rest of the faculty. Like it was beautiful. I was like, this is support. Like
Right.
they really support me. Yeah, it was insane.
So yeah, so then you graduated college and then you went right into rehearsals for waitress, or you had a little bit of a break?
No, I pretty much went right in. I think that weekend I went to our LA showcase. because I did get into the LA showcase. So I went to our LA showcase. And then I flew in to New York, I think on the night of the 15th of May. And then I started on the 16th of May in the morning.
Wow. And what day was your Broadway debut? Like June?
Ooh, my Broadway debut was, if I started on the 16th, no, because I had 2
With
weeks.
2 weeks.
I
Yeah.
went right on in that thing.
Hmm.
Right on in that thing. They threw me right up in there. They said 2 weeks, here you go.
So I asked Jeremy Morse of the original Broadway cast of Waitress what
Yeah.
the feeling was like when you heard Sarah's voice over the intercom going the bring bring to shut off your cell phone. Like what was the feeling throughout your body? Like did you get nervous? Were you excited? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I was definitely I was definitely nervous and off and you're in the wing, so you're in basically complete darkness, like
Right.
waiting to, and actually that's a lie. I start on stage behind Jenna,
Oh, yeah.
handing her the bowl. I'm the
Yep.
first thing that she gets.
That happens. The Red
So
Bull.
I'm like, just just
Mhm.
full on trying to breathe. I think it made me go like, I was super nervous, but I was also just like giddy. Like I was like, this is it. We've made it. This is it. This
Yeah.
is it, Kayla. Let's do this. Yeah. Yeah.
So, were you able to go see the show a couple more times while you were in rehearsals, or you
Yeah,
just
they let
no?
me. So I was in rehearsals. I was in rehearsals almost all day, every day. But there were certain days, multiple days, where we would do like the morning half would be rehearsal, and then you come in and watch the show at night, just so
Okay.
that the blocking that they were teaching me, because also in my rehearsal process, it was just me and my dance captain at the time, Max Kumungai,
Max.
and
Yeah.
who is, I love him so much,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
sweetest soul on this earth.
Have you
But
tried his bread?
no, and I was just, when I said I was just staring at it this morning, like I like go and watch all of his bread. Like,
I
yo, I'm
know.
like, this is
It looks so
great.
good. It's like just oh.
It looks so good. And I told myself, I was like, you need to buy this bread, especially because he comes to deliver it. And I want to
Right.
see him and eat the
Mhm.
bread. This is great.
Mhm.
But yeah, he was the only person teaching me. So it was literally just me, him, and a stage manager in the room. So they would have the stage managers like hold certain props for me so I could like run around and go get them. But
Right.
for the most part, it really was just, it was like you have to watch the show so that you can kind of put the pieces together, because we only had, I think I had 2 weeks of learning, but within the 2 weeks, the last week, I did a dress rehearsal without costume with everyone for the
Mhm.
first time. And also being there and not getting to like really like meet the cast. Like I met them, but I didn't get to be around them all the
You were
time. So
working.
like, yeah, so it was like I was trying to learn names. I was trying to figure out who was who, especially being on stage. And it's like, okay, you got to hand the bowl to Stephanie. Okay, then you go over here and walk around Molly.
You're like,
Okay, I
"Hi."
was like, I'm like, Stephanie, Molly.
And when Max was working with you, he was in the show as well.
Yeah, he was in the show as well, and he was the swing.
Right.
So there would be times where he would be like, something happened, I have to go in.
Right.
So it definitely was a lot of like, we're helping you as much as we can, but you also have to do your own work and like look at the show and like write stuff down.
And it
You know,
was probably harder for you to learn the names because there was 2 Mollys
yes, two
in
Mollies.
in the class, um, Molly Hager, Molly Job, but yeah, that's crazy. So, have you seen the movie Waitress? The
Yes,
original movie with, like, oh my god, Kerry Russell? That's the
yeah.
name last name,
I
Kerry Russell.
think yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not good with his
yeah,
names.
yeah.
Harry, Harry.
Yeah. So, how much did you refer to that movie once you were in, or did you just go straight from the Broadway, like base your role as both the understudy of Dawn and an ensemble member on the Broadway cast?
Yeah, I think I referred to the. I don't think I really, honestly, I don't think I referred to
I
the
mean,
movie
it's
as
different.
much.
It's different.
But
It's
it is
different.
very different. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
very, very
different.
different in my opinion. And
Mhm.
and honestly, I feel like I was more so. looking at what they built and why
Mhm.
they built it.
It's actually very different because there's choreography in one and there's not in the other.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. And that is exactly what I was about to say, is because even the choreography that we did, like, it was so magical, like
and
the
particular
acting
because
situation.
you had to make sure everything was running smoothly, nothing fell off your hands. You were
Yes.
dealing with like real food and
Yes, and it was props galore, like props all day, every day. The amount of
Mhm.
props that we had, it was so everything was so specific to the T.
Right.
So it's hard to kind of like they built something entirely new. And so I was like, let me focus on what it is, on the beauty of the magic that they've kind of built within this thing. Because I feel like when you watch Waitress, you're like, wow, like you're like the scenery to the lights to just the way things move around. It's like, oh, this is all kind of like, it feels like a dance
Yeah,
almost the entire time, like a full
it
dance.
runs through. It goes and
Yeah.
it just keeps going and it tells this beautiful, beautiful story. If anybody has not seen or listened to Waitress the musical,
Oh my gosh.
it's crazy.
The soundtrack is it. I still listen to the soundtrack
Oh yeah,
today. It's
me
so
too. It's so good. And then there's little clips from Broadway.com here and there. So yeah, check those out because those are really good. Um, but so you understudied Dawn. How many times did you actually get to go on?
good. Ooh, I went on a couple times. I went on a lot. I feel like, but it didn't happen until like towards the middle end of when I was there.
Right.
I was there for like a year. I think it probably happened.
Because did Sarah leave for a little bit and that's when Stephanie filled her place?
Yeah. Well, so Sarah left, and then there was Betsy.
Betsy Wolf.
Betsy Wolf. So I worked with Betsy Wolf. Yes,
Right.
yes. I worked with Betsy Wolf, and then
This is
I feel
one
like,
from one of your Broadway care signings that
yeah.
you guys did. That's you right there. I think that's you, right?
Yeah, that's me. That's rough.
Okay.
I have to work on that signature, y'all. That one was not it. You know, when you're trying to write fast, you like, oh,
Right. I
sorry.
mean, you're signing like a bunch of these. So,
So
and
many, y'all.
so when you were with Betsy, it would probably pretty cool to do the show with a lot of the original cast
Oh my
because
gosh, it was so cool. It was so cool. I got to meet Drew Galing, which was incredible.
yeah,
Like,
he's a
I
great guy.
he's a great guy, and like just so everybody was so talented, and I feel like because I was also the youngest in the cast, besides the little Lulus, like coming in, I really
Mhm.
felt like they all took me in and were like showing me the ropes of life in a beautiful way,
Right.
which I was very grateful for. Like I felt like they loved me, you know.
Mhm.
I would never, yeah, I felt like they like really loved me, which was nice because I
Right.
feel like you could be in different shows and be like, I hate my cast. I was like,
Right.
no, like I really love them.
Yeah.
I really do. But yeah, I got to work with Betsy Wolf, and then who did I work with after that? Kat McPhee.
Oh wow. Big name.
Um, I feel like I worked with pretty much all the
Jason Mraz. He was Dr. Pomander when you were there.
Jason. Wait. Jason. Uh, First of all, Jason left this for me. Jason was my homeboy. And my homeboy in the way that, like, you know, like when celebrities come, a lot of people are always like, I'm trying to be best friends with him because they're a celebrity. You know,
Yeah.
I was not that person. I was like, I'm gonna give you your space, give me my space. Like, I don't know
Mhm.
you like that. You don't know me.
Yeah.
Like, so
For
having,
anybody who's listening right now, Kayla's holding up a cutout cardboard of Jason Mraz.
and just like, so I remember when Jason left, when it was his last day, we like all hung out and like hung out in the theater, and we all were just
Mhm.
drinking, having a good time,
Yeah.
like everybody just hanging out, and which was something that the Waitress family did all the time. Like
On the
we would all
stairs.
hang out
On the
on the stairs.
stairs.
Such
With the
great
table.
that my people, such a great time. We love the stairs. We love the
Yeah.
stairs. But I remember him and I, we took some photos together, and he was laughing because he was like, I'll never forget the face that you used to make when you would see me. And I was like, what face is that? And then he was like, you look at me like this. I said, you don't have to come for me. Okay. I looked at you like that because you got corny jokes at times. Okay. I don't do corny jokes. So, but I love Jason so much.
Yeah, and I
Love
don't think anybody that knew Jason before thought like his music and was a fan of his music. Like he could like belt, but there's some pretty. That's a Dr. Pomader's like a tough role, and I don't think anybody
him.
actually like expected that. Maybe because he just like hasn't shown it, but he has, but like he hasn't. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, no, I totally get what you're trying to say. And I feel like if you and it also depends on like the music that you're producing. You know, like Jason has incredible music. And to be within the industry, I do feel like sometimes you like stick to a certain niche that you have. So I think that this was great to see a different side of him.
Definitely.
And to get more of a sense of like his range and stuff. He's incredible. It was so good.
Whoever they brought into the show obviously is incredible. There hasn't been one person I don't think that wasn't.
No.
So you were in the ensemble of Waitress.
Yeah.
This is you right here. And for those of you who are seeing this picture right now and singing the song that they sung, I'm singing it right now too. And it's a song that I feel like people really just kind of push to the side. If you don't know what I'm talking about Club Knocked Up. I feel like it's a song that a lot of people took as a joke, but when they see you guys performing it live, it's like funny, it's hilarious, but it's also like it's a good song. A lot of belting and
so good. And also, if you guys, I'm telling you right now, one of the hardest songs in the show. Yeah. That's all I'm gonna say, because the chords of the three women there's like dissonance chords in there. Like they clash with each other the entire time that the audience can't notice from just like in normal aspects looking. The way we would have to rehearse that song all of the time. Like,
not to mention you're holding fake stomachs.
Yeah.
And so your character was the one who pulled off the thing of the gynecologist like table. Do you know what I mean?
Did my character do that? I think so.
Yeah, it was like a thing that you took it off, so like the model in the
yeah. Model of the like urethra and stuff.
Yes.
There. Yeah.
Did you ever forget that? That's just always something I've been curious about.
I don't know. I never forgot it, but I did always used to drop my rattle.
Oh yeah, I mean they're tiny, they're small. Wait, let's see if it's not here on this picture, because that's
no, it's not in that picture.
Yeah,
dropped the rattle right on that floor, broke it. There was times that the rattle broke and all the little stuff on the inside was spinning around. Mm-hmm.
That's like dangerous, because like those are they're tiny. I mean that stage was probably dangerous because there's flour, like I mentioned earlier, the live food, flour everywhere. You know, people are going like this with salt shakers, and there's just salt going everywhere.
People fail a lot in that show.
Did you ever fall or get injured?
I don't think I ever fell. Yes, I did fall. Yeah, you did? I have to really think about that at the end, because you're like running around, opening up. You're running around underneath them, behind them,
with pies in your hand, trying to focus.
Absolutely.
So you don't drop the pie.
Absolutely. Did surely fall for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I would fall. So you made your Broadway debut in Waitress, and like I said, you were ensemble member, and you understudied Dawn, and you made history as the first African American woman to go on and play Dawn. I mean, that's pretty big in my opinion. Here's you as Dawn with Stephanie Torrance and Natasha Yvette Williams, which powerhouse vocals right there. Between the three of you, I wish I was there for that performance, because
I could not have asked for two better leads to be on that show with. Like the way I was taken care of by Torrance and Natasha, forever grateful.
Forever. I mean, they're both incredible, and they were with the show. Stephanie was with the show since the beginning, pre-Broadway. So that must have been really cool. So how did that feel? Were people from your family there? Were people Like, because you were obviously inspiring all the theater fans that were there. That was
Yeah.
like, oh, she looks like me, but she doesn't normally look like me in all the ads
Yeah, yeah, and
and
it
everything
was
that we see
also
on the
National Theater
billboards.
Day that day, which was so cool. It was a dream come true. I'll never forget the call. Like I actually have a video of when I found out that I was going on because it was random. Like it was so random, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's happening! It's finally happening!" My family was not there at the time because it was last minute, and they don't live in New York. But
Right.
I did have some of my best friends come, which was cool. It was so cool. It was so cool. I honestly was just like, I cannot believe that this is happening. But I also, you know how some people get very nervous.
Yeah.
I think I was at a point where I feel like in all of my shows, when it was time for me to finally go on, I had reached this point where it was like, I am ready.
I'm
Like
here.
I'm
Mhm.
here. I've really studied this. I'm ready for it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. And
I
it's
mean,
nice because I just really love the character of Dawn. Like I like her because it is the more like timid side of me. It's the more intuitive side of me, which was nice to bring out.
right.
And it was nice to not have to play into a an African American stereotype. Like
Mhm.
nice to be able to just show that like Black people
You can do anything.
can do anything, and these are roles that we actually are in real life as well. Like
Right.
so, it was cool. It was super cool, and I'll never forget like the different messages that I got on Instagram from little Black girls who were
Mhm.
like just like inspired, and I was like, yeah, this is why we do what we do for
Right.
this reason. Yeah.
Yeah, so leading up to the moment that you did make your debut as Dawn, did you when you went out there and you were singing, you were probably not thinking about it then, but did you later go back and think back to your college days when you were singing those big ballads and then being able to sing when he sees me on Broadway
Oh my gosh, yes,
as
and
the
also just
first Black Dawn?
as the first Black Dawn, and just like just being like, this is really happening. And also because When He Sees Me is
It's
honestly,
hilarious.
I really thought about Caitlin the entire time as well, because When He Sees Me it is a lot. It's a big number,
You're
and
dancing,
it's not
you're
a park and bark. You have to
right.
move the entire time, and people are throwing you like, and you're supposed to just like continue singing perfectly.
Mhm.
So that was like, oh, this is different from college days. This one is a
Yeah.
little different. Like this is
This is a different ballad. That's
yeah,
I really gotta roll with this one.
yeah. So I was like, okay, here we go.
Right.
Um,
And who was your Ogie? Was it Christopher Fitzgerald or
yeah, it
yeah.
was. Who is a comedic genius? So
Yes.
it was also great to play alongside him because
Mhm.
I love
Great guy
comedic
as well.
timing. Yeah, and I love comedic timing. So being able to play with him was like
And he
great.
is hilarious.
No, truly,
I
he's
have
crazy
seen 2 Ogies, and the second time I saw Waitress on Broadway, I saw him as Ogie, and I was like, "Whoa, I didn't even know that can happen with a character."
every time. He would get standing ovations like every night. He was so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
not.
and not to mention the vocals that comes out of his mouth.
Oh, because he sings down. That's what's actually crazy. It's like I feel like when you meet him, you're like, oh, I've heard so much about you. You're this comedic genius, and then he sings,
Mhm.
and you're like, oh, you, oh, you
Oh,
sing.
you can
Got
sing.
it.
Right. Different styles throughout the same song as well,
Yes,
which I feel like is like, whoa.
he's giving you technique for days. He's like, no, I can like switch this up the entire time, and you're
Right.
like he is a person that you want to, well, really all of them, but he's a person that you want to like sit down and like take acting lessons from. You're like, this
Mhm.
is a master
It's
class.
worth
Let
it.
me write this down.
So you continued with Waitress, and at what point did you start, auditioning for other Broadway shows? Was your contract
I was
coming up
always
to an
auditioning for other shows.
Okay.
That's the thing. That is the hard part and the blessing about being in theater is that like even though you're in a show,
Mhm.
the hard part is that you have to find the balance of being present and also like looking
Moving
for
on.
the thing. Yeah, because
Yeah.
You never know when it's coming. You never know when your show's going to close. So it's like always staying on top of your craft and what that means. And so I was always in auditions. And then well, I left. I was there for like a year and like 2 months, which is so wild because it didn't feel like I was there for that long. But that was the longest show that I have been in for an extended
A long
amount of time.
time.
A long time, yeah. And I left in July. I think I
Well, that you could have, because the when when you joined the cast of King Kong, unfortunately, that show it closed with you
it
in the
did
cast,
close.
right?
No, I booked Tina before King Kong, so I actually
No, I
left
forgot
King
that Tina
Kong.
had like a whole thing before Broadway.
Yeah, and I left King Kong before in July as well. I left both of my productions in July around the same time, actually.
So when did you book King Kong
I
on
booked
Broadway?
King Kong and I left in July, so I think I booked it in. I think my final callback. Yeah, my final callback was in March, and
Okay.
I think I booked it in April sometime because I was actually on set doing a TV show. I was doing The Good Fight on CBS.
Yep. We
Yeah.
have that right here. So
And
was that your first TV experience?
yeah, that was my debut.
How was that?
Incredible. I was a guest star and I was like, you could be a guest star as your debut. That's great. I had 3 scenes. I said
Yeah,
three.
you had a
Wow.
lot of screen time.
That's how I had lines. I was like, whoa, this is not a one hitter quitter. I got lines in here. This is an arc. Um,
Right.
it was
So
so cool.
that must have been so different having a bunch of cameras instead of people in front of you.
Yes, right
I
in, right
mean,
here.
yeah.
Right here. And I was like,
I mean, you
trying to
can
be
go
cool.
on stage with like a scratch on your face and nobody will see it, but TV is you're right there. And you also
Yeah.
have being coming from theater, TV is so different because you're so used to like basically screaming every night.
Yes. And this one is
Where
it's such and that's good that you notice and recognize that because auditioning for TV when you're
Mhm.
a theater person is can be extremely difficult too if you don't understand that there is a huge difference and
Yeah.
we can't like project and do all of these things like there
Especially when you have to be emotional.
yes there's a real technique to TV that is actually very different from stage acting.
Mhm.
So being on the set was like first of all I was there with Audrey McDonald so I
Nah.
put that out there that I saw Audrey McDonald in
Made
the
that clear.
I saw her in person and was like,
Right. And
um,
is she somebody that you looked up to coming up like since you started theater? Like was because she's done a wide variety of roles. She's obviously great. So was that somebody that you looked up to and like being there in the room with them was like, oh my
it
God.
was incredible. I absolutely looked up to her. I
Mhm.
totally looked up to Audrey. I was like, she's always like, she is in the center of her art at all times. And it was great to watch her do her work. It was incredible to watch her. But yeah, doing those scenes where like on TV was so different because they like set the markers up and you do like a rehearsal take. You figure out where they want you to hit. You have to hit certain spots. You're like, okay, this is like the same, but like you need to hit this tape and look, your head has to turn a specific way. Like it is,
Also, you're not incorporating choreography into the the show. So it's like usually when you're in a musical, you're like, oh, this line comes before this song, or this line becomes before I do this dance move. I have to sing this before I do that. And it's the same thing with like a stage play.
yeah,
You have to pay attention to lines
yes,
to know your cue.
yes,
So it's not like where you can hear a melody start and be like, "Oh, this is when I do this," or "This is when I do
right.
that." You gotta pay attention.
You gotta be listening,
Yeah.
listening. Oh my gosh, it's good. And then like the director, there was one scene where he wanted me to like basically like get teary eyed, and then that's also a thing because you don't have an arc of like going through the show and actually feeling it out. Like this is the scene that we gave you for today. Learn these
Mhm.
lines. We need you to cry by this word. You're like ah
And
okay.
you gotta do it.
Let me figure it out. Yeah.
And in theater, you can show bigger expressions, but you're so close to the camera that they actually have to see your tears water.
Yes.
Like, during She Used to Be Mine and Waitress and, like, you don't have to cry. Everybody ends up crying anyways.
Yeah.
Everybody ends up crying anyways. But you don't really have to show the tears, even though
Yeah,
there's
you don't.
tears are being shown. But in TV, it's different.
It's so different. And you have, and with musicals, you have the music to like push that
Mhm.
along. So even if the Jenna doesn't cry, you have this background music that is a lullaby, that is a, you know, that gives you vibrations that feel sad, versus when you're literally just lingering on to words, like they all have to land a specific way, you
And then
know?
even the scene following that, rather than a commercial break or something, even
Yeah.
the scene following, for example, She Used to Be Mine, where she just goes, I don't want to give too much away, but she goes through this very out of body experience, I feel like. And so
Yeah.
it even gets you even more emotional, to where on TV you get all emotional, and then there's an ad for like Cheerios or something, that like you get distracted. But that's, so it's very different, and you're lucky enough to been able to work both, you know
Yeah.
get work yourself up, work so hard in order to be both on television and in the theater,
Yep.
which is very, and you're still so young, so like you still
Yeah.
have so much time.
Yeah.
So,
Which
and
makes
that's
me so
crazy.
excited. I'm like, if I have, which this pandemic has been interesting because I've been able to
Mhm,
like really like sit with and like actually take in finally a moment, because I've been going since college,
mhm,
right?
right,
So it's been a time for me to finally like sit and understand just how much I've done.
right.
And I'm like, this is crazy. So like,
Not many people do it.
not many people do it, exactly. And I'm like, this makes me very excited for my future. I'm just like, yeah, I have so much more to go. Like
Mhm,
that's great to think about.
right. So after the TV show, you were in the original cast of King Kong on
Yeah.
Broadway.
Oh,
Opened up, opening up. You were in the ensemble and understudied Anne Darrow.
Darrow.
Darrow. Darrow.
Everybody always says Darrow too.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I think it's the double R
Yeah, it's
that
not double R.
the it's not?
No, no, no. It is a double R.
Oh, it is a double R, right? I was like,
Mhm.
so how was it? How was it? So this is Kayla looking very, very dramatic,
Right
out
before
to
I left King Kong. Sad.
out out to nobody. Um, and then we see him in the back over there. So how was it working with a giant puppet?
It was wild. Like,
Right. Because there's so many things that you have to build around the puppet, that like you have to make sure everything's perfect. Like another thing with Waitress, with the food, you have to make sure everything's perfect. With the puppet, you can't trip a wire, because then the
no.
whole show goes down.
And you
And
got
there
2
has
people
been,
on stage working him the entire
right,
time.
and
You're
there
like,
was times where King Kong would not go up.
yeah. Yep.
I've seen that on like Broadway.com. Like King Kong did not go up in today's performance, and there was like a 20-minute delay or something.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
oh,
It was it
it
was
must
wild,
be hard.
but it worth it, but so worth it because he is like over 2,000 pounds, but doesn't feel like that. Like he
That would
feels
scare me.
oh yeah, but and he's huge. Like when we all met him for the first time, we were like,
Right, he's a character of
because
the
you're just
show.
head, neck, all the way crooked up. You're like, ow, you know.
Uh
He's
huh.
so tall. He's like 20 feet tall. This
Tall.
when he stands up, like giant, full
Right.
giant. Like but
And
what
he
was
could still
so
make motions through these scenes, like the car scene, like the when he's
yes.
running through the streets and stuff. And it's crazy how the way they produced the show, they made it look so believable.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Still with a giant puppet.
The animatronics in his face is
Mhm.
like wild. Like the fact that he can blink his eyes and move
Now,
his mouth, like
in
his eyebrows,
in
all
this picture, he looks like he's showing an expression, but that it's not. It's just the way the sculpture of the face is. It,
yes.
so it's incredible.
They did an awesome job building
Yeah.
Kong. Like they did an awesome job. He feels like you're talking, even though you're talking to a giant, especially the way that we had uh
And
our
people
guy
considered,
playing King Kong talk. Like
right.
it felt like you were talking to a human.
People consider this show a flop,
I know, which is so interesting to me. I do think that, like, when we see certain shows, we're always like, yeah, the writing could have been better in this place. Yeah, we could have changed this. But overall, like, this show is hard. It is one
Yeah.
of the hardest shows. I'm always like, once you do King Kong, you can do anything after that, quite frankly. It's that
And
hard.
you did.
And it,
Um,
right.
so after you left King Kong to
Yeah.
go with Tina the musical.
Tina.
This
Yes.
this show, man.
Fun fact, my first audition for Tina the Musical was on the day of our King Kong opening. So I literally went
Oh, so you were
to
still auditioning. You were like, I
into opening night,
right.
which we did a dance call for Tina. And if you know the dancing at Tina and then you know
Ugh,
the dancing at King Kong, my body was kaput.
right. Because you're
Yeah,
doing all these different dun, dun, I can't like it's just
it hurts.
it's crazy.
It
Ugh.
hurts.
So you booked Tina the
Yeah.
musical. How was that? Was Tina Turner in the audition room? No, just the
No,
director.
she wasn't in the audition room. She's one of the producers on the show, like, but she was not in the audition room. No, I actually was in the audition room with our director, Philida Lloyd.
Okay.
I got to be in there with Katori Hall at one point. I think I had like seven callbacks or something
Jeez.
in total. So it
Ooh.
was a lot of auditioning, a
It's a
long
big show.
time. It's a big show and it was a long time. And I had separate like music session auditions where I would just be going over River Deep, Mountain High and stuff so
Mhm.
they could hear me and we
Big
talked.
songs.
Yeah, big songs, and we
Songs
talked
that
a
people
lot about.
know.
Yes, so you need to like know them, like for real, in your heart, mind, soul, and you need to know the words. But yeah, I went through so many auditions. I think everybody was pretty much in my audition. Yeah, the whole team actually, which was cool. Now that I think about it, they were all there. Choreographer,
Yeah, that's
everybody.
yeah, that's crazy. And people have standards for these songs.
Oh yes, and especially coming from watching and hearing about Adrienne Warren, who is the original Tina,
Mhm.
who has now created this new standard off of the standard of Tina that is so
Yeah.
ridiculously incredible. You
Mhm.
are trying to figure out for myself, like, okay, how do I take what this legend taught? How do I take what this new legend who's coming into this business is teaching? And how do
Right.
I find my personal self
And
in this?
that must be so difficult because when people go see other musicals, they're like, "Oh, this was good. The music was good." Obviously, they're going into Tina knowing the music is good.
Yeah.
Now, what they're really judging is how good the person playing Tina is, and even everybody else.
Yeah.
So that must have been really, really difficult. You know.
Yeah, but I think that, for me, I came from a background of gospel music.
Mhm.
So before theater, before like singing R&B and stuff like that, my dad's a pastor. I grew up in the church singing. So
Right.
scrolting, like belting, this rock style, this type of singing is what I grew up with. So when I
Too.
got in Tina, I was ecstatic because I was like, first of all, I get to learn about this incredible, fearless woman. And not only that, but I get to like sing the style that I have always known, you know?
Mhm.
Um, so I was more so like, I'm excited. And I love the producers and the director and stuff because our director and our music director used to say, like, we don't want you to imitate Tina. Like, you don't need to mimic Tina. That's not
Right.
what we're looking for. We're looking for you to embody the spirit, the presence of who she was. And I'm
Mhm.
like, that's also just great to know because it means that I don't have to be exactly like you all. Like, I need to just understand the why,
Right.
the
Because
why.
Tina was such a big role that there were so many there was a whole schedule that
Yeah.
Adrian wouldn't be on as Tina. Because anybody who hasn't seen the show, you need a break. You
Yes.
need a break.
You
Because
need a break.
'cause I when I so Tina was the last show that I saw on Broadway since Broadway shut down. February 27th, that was the last show that I saw was Tina on Broadway. And it wasn't planned at all. I entered the lottery like I do for most shows, and it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I was at theater rehearsal. I was rehearsing for Guys and Dolls with my high school, and we got the message, oh, you know, you won the lottery, whatever. And then we just went, and we were like, we we were gonna come see this again, but like get like better seats. Our seats were great, but we saw Tina. We saw like Tina. The character of Tina was on the stage all times. I don't feel like there was any point at all that she was off stage
Oh my gosh. No.
at all.
No. Quick change and that's it. You right back on.
Right, and it's an emotional show.
Yes.
It's very emotional, and
Your
I
bells
did it. I
songs.
Yeah, I saw the show. I don't want to butcher her name. I don't want to butcher her name. I'm gonna
And
try to
Keki?
say it. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
so she was my Tina when I saw the show, and she's incredible.
Yeah.
She's good.
She is. Hands down.
And you were Iket.
Hmm.
You were an Iket at the time that I went to go see the show, and they stand out as well because they're just like Club Knocked Up. They're doing all the vocals in the back over there.
So much.
So
So much. I love being
so
a night.
yeah, so this is you as Tina.
Yeah.
So you got the big hair, everything's rocking there. This is also you there. So how did that feel being able to step into those shoes?
Oh my gosh.
Like such a
Breathtaking.
role.
Such a role. I think it allowed me to really understand the I've always been like a very like strong opinionated person, but like I think that this
Mm,
allowed me to step into a different side of what it means to be fearless, and honestly what it means to be a rock star. Like I was like, oh, Tina lives. Like she really like she became fearless throughout her entire journey. Like you
right.
have no choice but to push through. You know, when you like believe in yourself that much, and when you believe that that you belong in this world, that you matter to this world, like you have no choice but to push through. And so being
Mhm.
in that role reminded me just like how much it was like, no, you're going to get through this. You're going to get through this life. You're going to get through this journey. You're going to get through this season and you will end up on top. Um, and again, like I don't think Tina did any of it necessarily for the fame. She did it because she's like, this is my passion. This is what I love. This is a different entity of me that I didn't notice. So now that it's here, I'm not letting it go.
Right.
Which is just, yeah, being in that role, I feel like you transform. And when you come out of that role, like you have no choice but to kind of be like, let me see how I can apply this to my life. Like,
I
legit.
mean, seeing how strong the character is and everything that Tina's life and what she went through, and then to actually see her still standing and dancing now, it's incredible.
Yeah.
How
And
that
smiling, the joy that exudes from her is like, wow, like you've been through so much and yet you still stand here and just are like, my goal is to like give joy, to be joy. I'm like, wow,
and
you're
it's not like it's a there's a new HBO Max documentary coming out about Tina, and in the documentary, in the trailer of it, she was like, she was saying, I didn't want her to get any money, I didn't want her to get a house, I just had my name.
yeah.
And that was like, whoa. You can tell both in the broader production and her own life as well that yeah.
She
So
earned that.
were you intimidated when Tina Turner was in the audience and you were performing a show about her?
Not intimidated, but definitely nervous. Definitely nervous. I
Mhm.
was like, she could either come up and like hate this or she could be like really proud of us. Like it's gonna go one
Right.
way or the other, you know. Um,
Mhm.
so we just wanted to make her proud. Definitely not intimidated because
Mhm.
I felt like um
Well, was she there throughout the first, like, rehearsal process and everything? Was she there at all, or is the first time
no,
that you
no,
guys
the
saw her?
first time was that we met her was on opening night.
Oh,
Literally
so
on
yeah.
opening night. Yeah, so it was
That's
like
that's why I say I'd be terrified.
yeah, it definitely was nerve-wracking. I think it
Uh-huh.
probably would have been even more nerve-wracking if we had seen her before we started the show and then started the show. So at least it was that
I
idea
see.
that like, I know that you're out there, but like I can secretly sort of kind of not know that you're out there right now.
Right.
Like, you
Mhm.
know,
'Cause I
until
don't know you
we on
yet.
stage. Then it was like, hey. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty incredible. So then you were in you were in Tina, you were performing, and then, you have your last show, and then all of a sudden the next day, you get the message that today at 5 o'clock, Broadway will go dark. Broadway will shut down. Where were you in that moment?
Uh I think I was at home. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I was at home. I was right
preparing.
in the room. Right,
You were
getting
gonna
ready to go to the show.
right, getting ready.
Getting
I'm
ready to
about
go.
yeah.
They
I
said that
mean,
and it was like, "Oh, okay." And I think none of us expected it to be
no, and I think
as
there
long.
was a sense of being not overjoyed, but being joyed that there was a break, you
Yeah,
know? I mean,
absolutely.
kids that were like, "Oh, we have no school for 2 weeks." And you were like, "Oh, I can take a
Yeah.
break."
And I had just got done going on for Tina I was on, pretty much every week by that point. So it was like, "Oh,
So
right."
were you the last Tina to perform on Broadway since
No,
the
no, no.
pandemic shut down?
No, 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 I definitely was not the last. I think
No?
Adrian the last? I feel like Adrian was the last.
You know what? Yeah. So when I saw the show, she was on vacation. She was and it was when COVID was around, but, like, it wasn't, and we knew about it. It was, like, risky going into the city, but, like, it wasn't.
Yeah, she had just gotten back off of vacation. Yep.
Yeah, so then I saw the show February 27th, and then you guys had the Monday matinee off, and then she came in. Wait, yeah, and then she came in after vacation. So yeah, man, that's crazy.
It's wild. It's very wild. I mean, we
Especially that
definitely
we,
like, yes, break.
yeah, especially that we just came up on a year of it, and it's like, oh wow,
I
this
know.
is kind of crazy.
I know. Yeah, I definitely it's so wild. We're all so close, so we talk all the time.
Hmm.
And we're always talking about just like, wow, it's really been a year. It's been a
Yeah,
year, a whole year. Okay. Okay.
yeah, and we're all just kind of waiting. When is
Right, because we don't know. And everybody's always asking us, do we know? And we don't know. We have no
nobody knows,
we have no clue. So
right? But
the world seems to be letting up a little bit right now, but we'll see.
yeah.
You
I
know?
mean, I'm happy that, they're having the New York pop-ups. They're
Yeah.
having the little performances in the middle of the city and everything like that. That was nice to see. Wish I could have been there. But yeah, so the show is incredible. Anybody who hasn't checked out Teeny yet, when Broadway opens back up, go see it cuz
Please.
it'll be there for a while. I know it will cuz of how good of a show it is. The cast, you have Kayla, you have Adrienne, you have Daniel, you have Don Lewis, you have so many good people in
Yeah.
the cast that it's just I can't even explain it.
So
It takes my
lifted spirits.
yeah, it takes my breath away. But anything that you have upcoming, like during the pandemic, I know you're a host of your own, not your own, but like it's a series of a I don't know if it's a podcast or it's just a talk show. The
Yeah.
where
It
you
happens
interview
every
Melba
Friday.
Moore.
That's a lie. That's not every Friday. Yes, I did. That's Women of Color on Broadway, where I got to interview
Yes.
Melba Moore. Yes, tune in to Women of Color on Broadway because they are doing really great things, honestly and truly.
Now,
Um,
are they on YouTube? Because I feel like only yours is on YouTube.
I don't know. They should be on YouTube, but see, I don't know how many because they have different people who interview
Right.
different people, so they should be on YouTube, but I'm actually not sure about that. That's a really great question.
And
But
go
but yeah,
ahead.
I am doing my own. I'm doing another thing right now where, um, if you guys look up like the Restart America campaign, I'm with
Mhm.
this organization right now where we are doing different podcasts, right?
No.
Via StreamYard and stuff. And so I am hosting a new show now that happens at the end of each month on the last Friday of the month. It's called Get Back to the Arts Broadway Edition. So you get to basically meet all of the different artists in our community and kind of get a feel for the stuff that they're doing right now.
Right.
So tune into that, y'all. And also follow my Instagram
Follow
page.
the Instagram page and the quote Instagram page as well, because
Yes.
to see
Affirm.
those things pop up on your feed, it's like
I love
very
the page. Please follow the Instagram, the quote page. It will
yes.
brighten you.
Everything will be linked below down in the description. So definitely, definitely, definitely check it out. But I just wanted to thank you for coming on. This was a great episode.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. It was such an honor to have you on. And again, everything is linked below. So everybody go check that out. But yeah, we can't wait to see you and everybody else when Broadway comes back. I know me and my mom will be sitting right there, right back at the show. I have a funny story, actually.
What?
Let
What?
me let me find this. I got you mistaken with somebody else in the cast.
Who?
I did. I was really embarrassed about it. Let me try to find her name. Leandra?
Oh my God. Everybody gets this mistaken because our eyes are pretty similar. Like when her mom came and saw the show, she thought that I was her for a second. It is
So
funny.
I have I collect the playbills, obviously.
Yeah.
And I have your playbill from when you made your Broadway debut in Waitress, and I was like, "Oh my god, can you sign my Waitress playbill?" And I was talking to her like she was you, and then she was like, "Oh yeah, sorry, she'll be here soon." And it was so cold, and I felt so bad for keeping her up. But I just that's something I remember so vividly, and it was funny. But yeah, this is such a great show. So thank you again. It's been an honor to talk to you. And everybody check her out, support her. Go check out her Instagram and just do me a favor and watch the Dream Girls video. That's just wow. And then the quote page and everything else like that. So thank you, Kayla, and thank you everybody for tuning in today. Don't forget to listen to our podcast over on Apple Music, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to your podcast. So we'll see you guys next week with a brand new episode. Thank you guys.